Hi everybody, Mr. Owens here. I'm going to go over simple interest. So while this is called simple interest, it's actually not that simple. It's a lot easier than more higher level ways of calculating interest, but still not easy. So I don't want you to get the wrong idea. So when we're talking about this, there's this one equation that kind of rules over everything. And it's this equation that says I equals PRT. And before you freak out, I know that you don't really know algebra. So once again, I'm surprised that Edgenuity is teaching you this. But with that, I'm going to help you, okay? So I stands for the interest. So this is like the total amount with the interest, all right? So this is total amount that you end up getting or that you pay, depending on if it's a loan where you borrow money and you have to pay it back, or if it's you're putting money in a bank account. All right. The P stands for principal, and this isn't like a school principal. Okay. The principal is the original amount. So this is the original amount of money. Okay. So it stands for principal. R stands for the rate. This is the interest rate. This is the interest rate. Okay, and then T stands for time. Okay, so how long do you get that rate for? Okay, so there's I, which is the new amount, the total amount. Okay, this is like the new amount. The P is the principal, and that's the original amount. The R stands for the rate, which is the interest rate. And if it's a loan, that's how much you are paying back, how much more money you're paying back. And if it's a deposit for a bank account, it's how much more money you get. All right, and then T is for how long. So let's do some examples. I think it'll become a little more clear when we do some examples. So once again, I'm just going to write the equation here, I equals PRT. Now remember, in algebra, when there are letters next to each other, when there are variables next to each other, it means multiplication, okay? P times R times T, those are all being multiplied. So let's say you're buying a car. You take out a $10,000 loan. The rate is 3.25%, and the time is 24 months. Now this is kind of annoying, and they do this. So that's why I was being annoying too. 24 months, you have to figure out how many years that is. So 24, right? 12 months in a year is 2 years, okay? So getting back to our problem, we have I equals P times R times T. Sorry, I'm writing in cursive. I'll try to R. There we go. Okay. So we don't know what the new amount is. So the question that is being asked to us, right, is how much money do you have to end up paying? So when you take out a loan, they give you $10,000 and you end up paying the bank more than $10,000. Okay. So we're going to figure out how much you end up paying the bank back. So let's say you take out a $10,000 loan. That's the principal. So this is the principal. And then the rate is obviously the rate, 3.25 times 3.25%. Don't forget the percentage, okay? Times the time, right? The time. And we can do this in months or in years. Oftentimes they'll tell you the months, but they actually want it per year, okay? So we're going to do times 2. Now remember, we can't actually multiply all this yet because this is a percentage, right? So we need to move the decimal 2 times to the left, right? So what we end up getting, this is what we put in our calculator, 10,000 times 0.0325 times 2. Okay, now these are all different numbers, and if you want, I think Edgenuity might use parentheses for these. That means multiplication, okay, when there's parentheses right next to each other. So then you just have to go into your calculator and do it. So you go to your calculator and you have 10,000, be careful to get the zeros right, times 0.0325 times 2. You get 600 650, all right? So that means I equals $650. So that means you get a loan of $10,000 and the interest, right? The interest is $650. So at the end of the day, what you pay, let me write this, what you pay them back, we pay the bank back is $10,000 plus $650, which is $10,650, okay? So that's how you calculate interest. Now we're going to do a couple more examples. So here we have a deposit. This one is where we're talking about putting money into a bank, right? So again, we have I equals PRT, and the deposit is the principal. This is the principal. Okay, that's the original amount. So we have 200 times 5% times 30 months. Now we need to divide this by 12, right? 30 divided by 12. When you do that, you get 2.5. So times 2.5. Now remember, we need to convert the percent into a decimal, so 2 times to the left. So we have 200 times 0.05, not 0.5, 0.05 times 2.5. So we're going to figure out our interest. So we'll be doing, oh, sorry, I forgot my numbers. Okay. 200 times 0.05 times 2.5. That's $25. So I equals 20, the interest is $25. So when you put $200 into that bank account with a 5% interest rate, that means after 2.5 years, if you don't touch it, you will end up having, you'll get $25 free, right? So now you have 200 plus $25, so you have $225 if you never touch it, okay? And then finally, here's one last one, and this one's a little trickier, okay? So it tells you the deposit. This is the principal, right? The original amount. We don't know the rate, but we know the time, right? So we're going to do 36 divided by 12, get 3. And now we know the balance, or actually I should say the interest instead of the balance. Well, actually no, we can say the balance. So then if we know the balance, this is like the new amount, right? That means that our interest is $12. Okay, so it's like you put $100 into an account. After 3 years, it has $112. So you got $12 free in interest, totally free, over 3 years. Okay, so we need to figure out the rate. So again, we have I equals P times R times T. So we actually know the interest, right? This is 12 equals 100 times R. So I'm going to write the R in print. R times 3. So this is where they assume you know algebra, and this is where I get kind of annoyed with Edgenuity, because you don't know algebra, and that's okay. That's okay. So let me help you with this. Let me help you. So here we'll have 12 equals, we can take these two numbers and multiply them, okay? We're going to multiply 100 times 3. So I'm just going to move around these numbers, because in multiplication you can move things around and that's totally fine. So 100 times 3 is 300. Now, so 12 equals 300 times something. So if we need to figure out what the something is, we can divide by 300. Okay, so then these cancel out because they equal 1. And you're left with 12 divided by 300. So we go back to our calculator, do 12 divided by 300. We get 0.04. We get 0.04 is the rate. So is our rate 0.04%? Good job. No, it's not. So we're going to convert this to a percent by going 2 times to the right, and you get 4% equals the rate. Now that one's a little trickier, so I hope this helped a little bit. Please let me